And welcome back to BG's Cafe. I'm here with my guest Margaret from Teatro de las Américas here at downtown Oxnard, BG's Cafe. And she's telling us a little bit about her theater group and her teatro down at the old Wagon Wheel near the ice skating rink.
I'm so happy to be here. Thank you. Thank you so much for inviting me. I appreciate it, Francine.
So what is Teatro de las Américas? What is that?
Teatro de las Américas is basically a community theater. The mission is to present plays written in Spanish language countries, mostly in Spanish, to bring the wealth of Spanish language theater to Oxnard and Ventura County. But we want to make it accessible to the whole community, so we project English supertitles. So it's like going to a movie that was written or filmed in another country and reading the supertitles and staying with the action.
Now, would I be able to get some of the jokes? Because it said that when you translate something, sometimes the jokes get lost a little along the way, or the translation.
Yes, that is one of the most difficult jobs in the translation. Most of the time, I have had, or friends of mine have done the translation from Spanish to English, because many of these plays were never translated into English. Some are. And there was one occasion when there was this little song, it was like a ditty, and I couldn't figure it out. So I phoned the playwright in Mexico City. I said, explain to me what you're trying to do with this little song. And when she explained it to me, I was able to translate it into a fairly equivalent, nasty little ditty in English.
Now, do we get to see you on the stage?
No, I haven't been on the stage in a long time. It's been about 10 years since I've been on stage. My memory has begun to go down the tubes. Although, in February, we're going to do 3 one-acts about love. And one of them is about love in the 3rd stage of life, that is our senior years. And it's about a man and a woman that meet in the park, and as they reminisce a little bit, they realize that they were in love with each other when they were younger, although they don't say anything. So I might try out for that one.
Now, do these plays happen every night, once a year? How often can I go to Teatro de las Américas?
Well, what's really great is that after many years of being homeless, we have a home. And Teatro de las Américas is in a place in the Wagon Wheel that used to be a dance academy. So it is zoned for performance. So we have our own space, and our plan is to do 4 plays a year. So we're opening a play this week, and it'll run for 4 weeks. We are considering doing a little one-weekend Christmas thing of cantos y cuentos, chants and stories about Christmas from all the Americas. Then we'll be back on stage in February with 3 one-acts about love, teenage love, people in the 2nd age of life like yourself, and then people, seniors in love. And then in May, June, we're going to do a really terrific play called Pedro Infante y la suegra triunfante, Pedro Infante and the triumphant mother-in-law. And then we're doing something in August. Yes. Chima, who is a famous actor and director from the 24th Street Theater in Los Angeles, will come and direct a play called Infamy. And then we are still kind of negotiating and deciding the play that we'll do in early November. I'm pushing for one about Mexicans particularly take a very blasé attitude toward death. You know, we have the Day of the Dead and we play with it a lot. And so there's a play that I like three one-acts about death that I'd like to do, but I have not yet convinced the production committee to take it on. So we'll have 4 plays in 14.
Now, can anyone just show up and say, hey, I have this great play, can we do it? Or is there a process, is there a method to the madness in picking out these plays? Or is there a theme?
Well, finding plays is a challenge, and in the old days, 20 years ago when we got started, I remember one time we went down to a book festival in Guadalajara looking for plays. And over the years we have made relationships with playwrights, and so finding plays is not as hard with the internet. For a local playwright that would be interested in our doing a play, just get in touch with me, send me a copy. I don't make the decisions. The decisions are made by the artistic director, Patricia Casiano, who, by the way, teaches at Rio School District in her spare time. And it goes to a committee that's called the production committee, and we talk about them and we discuss them. But Patricia makes the final decision as to what plays are going to get staged, which is the job of an artistic director at any particular theater.
Now, what about talent? Now, in my car I sound like Mariah Carey. The world may not think so, but for someone who has true local talent and may want to start their career.
I want you to come on November the 23rd, which I think is a Saturday at 3 p.m. We're going to be casting for the choral production for Christmas, so I want you there, girl. Our casting is open. Actually, all of the people on stage are people from the local community. Usually we have somebody on stage that's been on stage for the first time. Our plays are in Spanish, so you have to be able to handle the language. But they're wide open, and it's volunteer work. If you have a yen to be on stage, come to the next casting, which will be in early December for the 3 one-acts about love. We're going to need some teenagers. We're going to need some people like yourself in the middle of life. And then we'll need some senior citizens for the 3 one-acts. But they are open to the community. We love having new people. One of the things that we've found with the youngsters particularly is that being on stage does awesome things for their self-confidence. We sometimes do children's theater, although we haven't got any children's workshops on the boards yet, but we will be doing at least one children's workshop come next year.
Now, do you have any other things that go on the theater? Any kind of acting classes or dancing classes or anything?
Well, that's interesting. We have a salsa and bachata class every Thursday night. Starts at 6:45 with warm-ups, and then from 7 to 8 is salsa. No. Yes. And 8 to 9 is bachata. The teachers are professional dancers led by Diane Terry, who was Juan Gonzalez's partner in the Salsa Festival last summer. Is that when we had the Salsa Festival? Yes, last summer. And they're great. And we do this at the Teatro. It's open to anyone. It's $10. Come by yourself. Come with a partner and learn how to dance salsa. We just finished an acting workshop, which was awesome, with Tony Duran, a professional actor from Los Angeles, and we're planning to do it again in the fall. Our Facebook page is the easiest way to keep up with us, what we're doing, Teatro de las Américas. .Facebook, or however you get into Facebook. One of our young people manages that, not me.
Now, what's a bachata?
I haven't been to the classes myself. It's a form of, it's a dance. It's I don't know. You'll have to ask Diane Terry. Come on Thursday and find out.
Is it a sexy dance? Is it
Oh yes, probably. I don't know what to tell you. You'll have to ask Diane or Juan Gonzalez next time you see him.
Now, for the theater, there are people that like to donate and contribute to the theater. Are you open to taking money? Or?
Oh, yes. You know, when we moved into this site that is our own place, we took on a huge challenge of a monthly rent that's more than what we are used to. So yes, we are very open to contributions from individuals, to sponsorship from businesses. We've had some businesses that have been sponsors for us for quite a while. For example, the NRG-Genon light factory on the beach has been a great sponsor for us. Juan Gonzalez, who is the executive administrator for the Richard L. Francis Law Practice, has been a sponsor, is a sponsor. Rabobank is a sponsor. And I actually have put out some feelers to some other businesses to see if they would like to provide a sponsorship. We have a number of businesses. I don't know if you've talked about Business Network International, where you and I met, but the BNI group, Business Network International, has provided us access to a few other businesses. We feel like businesses that cater or to the Latino Spanish-speaking community are a natural for Teatro de las Américas. If a lot of your customers are Latinos, it makes sense to support Latino theater.
And the clientele that you reach out to when you do the sales, do you have big ads? Is it word of mouth? How do people know when to buy tickets?
It's really interesting. We have tried radio. This is on public access television. We put up posters on businesses. We mail out cards. We have a website. We do Facebook. But do you know what is the biggest, best working publicity medium? Is word of mouth. What you have done for us, which is, oh, I love this. Let me bring a bunch of my friends to see this play. So word of mouth continues to be the biggest publicity, what would I call it, publicity medium for us. But we will have announcements in the local newspapers and posters at businesses and that kind of thing. As we say in Spanish, que corra la palabra, which in English comes out with spread the word.
So, Margaret, what are the future plans for the Teatro down there?
As you probably know, the Wagon Wheel shopping center, where the ice skating rink is going to come down. That whole area is being developed, and the plan for it does not include that old shopping center. So it's coming down in the next year or two. We're going to have to move. So in 2014, the board will, and actors and people who love us and wanted to see us continue, we'll be having a strategic planning session and talking about where do we go after the Wagon Wheel is no more. I have some ideas of what I'd like to see happen. It's difficult to find adequate space that meets the zoning requirements for performance. And where we are right now, we got grandmothered in, or grandfathered in, because the dance academy had been zoned for performance. So I'm not sure where we're going to go. I hope we will be able to find a place that's ours. You know, I do buy lotto tickets every once in a while and try to win the kind of money that would allow me to buy a plunk of property and build a theater up from scratch. That would be awesome. We have said among ourselves that the universe takes care of us.
Sure.
And so I'm hoping that Teatro will be continue having the universe taking care of us.
Well, you know, Margaret, the reason I didn't win that $580 million Powerball was because it wasn't quite enough. You know, to help everybody solve the world's problems. So that's why I'm waiting for the next big pot, a little over $600-700 million.
Oh, okay. So you give us, you know, a nice little chunk of that, and
I'll factor that into my world plans of
thank
everything I
you
need to
so
build for the
much,
city.
Francine. That's wonderful.
Now, in 20 years of theater, What are some of the most memorable plays that have come to Teatro de las Americas?
One of my personal favorites was in '08, or no, it was '98. In '98, we did a play written by a Mexican playwright, Pilar Campesinos, that commemorated the massacre that occurred in 1968 in downtown Mexico City in a place called Tlatelolco, which, if you've been to Mexico City, is a kind of a plaza that has an old cathedral, and it has a remnant of the pre-Columbian civilizations, and then the modern, or the plaza of the three cultures, as they call it. For those of you that were around in 1968, you remember that that was an extremely unsettled year with student protests all over the world, including our own here at Kent State. In Mexico City, the students were having a demonstration at the Plaza of the Three Cultures, which in a sense had them penned in, and they were gunned down by what were called guaruras, which were sort of, I don't know, paramilitaries of some sort. There was a terrible thing that happened, and we commemorated it with a play that was an awesome play, a two-person play. He was a perpetual student, and she was the daughter of a rich guy. And the play focused on their relationship, but every once in a while they'd do a little kind of turnaround, a little jump, and then they were parodying elements of what was going on in 1968. At the end of the play, some film, the guy said, "Oh, I took these movies," and he projected film of Tlatelolco. At the end of that play, it was dead silence, and there were tears. I still choke up. Another thing that happens in Latin America is that there are years of oppressive governments in Argentina, Uruguay, and many other countries. And we did a play called Primavera terminó hace mucho tiempo, which means spring ended a long time ago. And that was a terrific play based on a short story by Mario Benedetti, which talks about a family's experience during the 1970s military dictatorship in Uruguay. And it, one of the, and again, this was it was a terrific play because it focused on the family. They get out of the country, they go to Mexico City, except for the son, who's in jail, and the wife, the father, the daughter go to Mexico City, and then the guy's best friend shows up later. In the meantime, he's in this prison, and there's some flashbacks to how they were before. And in one of the flashbacks, he's in the mountains as a guerrilla, as a rebel, and he runs into a soldier, and I might start crying. The soldier is his cousin, Emilio, and they both realize that one of them's going to have to kill the other, just the way it was. And he kills his cousin, Emilio. And there's a very touching scene in the play where he writes a letter to his father saying, I have to tell you this. Thank you. It was a very touching scene. But the play is mostly, the dictatorship and all that kind of stuff is sort of secondary to the family situation, because in Mexico City, all of a sudden the best friend is getting it on with his friend's wife. And because they're thinking he's never going to get out, but then he does get out, and the play ends when they're receiving him at the Mexico City airport, and they're all kind of hugging each other, and he calls his best friend, "Come on over and join the group hug," and you're left hanging. So that was a wonderful play. We've done classics. We did El Burlador de Sevilla. It's the original Don Juan play written by Zorrilla, who was a Spanish monk. And that had some hysterical scenes in it. That was where I had great difficulty. No, that wasn't it. I take it back. We did another play by one of my favorite playwrights, Norma Román Calvo. Román Calvo died recently. She was an 80s 100-year-old woman who had written plays since the 40s. And she had one called Donde va Román Castillo? Where are you going, Román Castillo? And it's placed in Mexico City in 1551. And the conquistador has sent his son, the son of a Spanish woman, supposedly, who died in childbirth, to Madrid to go to the court. And he comes back with his page or his man Friday or whatever you want. And that's where they have a drunken scene where the two of them are singing this bawdy song that I had great difficulty translating. That was a great play because he realizes, or he finds out, that his mother is not who he thought it was, but instead an indigenous Indian woman. And to be mestizo in those days was like you were the slime of the slime. You were the bottom of the heap. And he's torn. The conflict in the play is he is torn between continuing with the charade that he is pure Spanish and his father's negotiating a marriage for him, or coming out with the truth that he is mestizo. You know, that was a very touching play, but it had some very funny scenes in it. So we've had some wonderful plays over the year. We've done occasionally plays written originally in English, translated into Spanish. We did Streetcar Named Desire by Tennessee Williams, which was terrific. Actually, we got started with a collaboration with Santa Paula Theater Center, and we did Doll's House. That's how I got involved in theater. I hadn't been in theater since like high school. And all of a sudden, they needed somebody to do the nanny, which was like 6 lines. And Marta Garza, who teaches at Oxnard College, I was at a party, and she says, "Oh, you want to be in a play?" And I said, "Sure, I'll be in a play." And that's how I got involved. We became independent, and our very first play ever staged was something called Rosa de Dos Aromas, a rose by any other name. And it's a 2-woman play, and it starts out in the waiting room of the prison next to Mexico City, or the jail. And these 2 women, one of them like, hairdresser, real lively, and the other one a kind of a serious woman who translates technical books from German into Spanish. They're there to visit their man. By the end of the first scene, they realize it's the same guy. And the rest of the play is how they eventually start working together to get him out of prison. Very, very funny play. We enjoyed that one. In fact, we've done it twice, and some people say, "Oh, we should do it again," because it is so good.
Now, when doing a production, what kind of costs are involved? I mean, your actors are volunteers, or they paid, or they...
Yeah. Each play averages about $10,000. We do pay the artistic director, and the director has to be someone who has experience. The actors are volunteers. There's rent, there's costumes, there's set pieces. I've become a great fan of Restore, which, if you aren't familiar with the Habitat for Humanity's thrift store, is a great place to buy things. I went and bought a bed frame there are 2 beds in our current play. The costs just kind of multiply. We wind up going to Home Depot or to Lowe's to buy stuff. When we got into this new space at the Wagon Wheel, it cost about $40,000 to get it all set up. A lot of the work was donated and done by Pablo Garcia, the owner of Burrito Express, who's on our board and to whom we owe a huge debt of gratitude, because he put our space together. We bought lights, but a play costs a surprising amount of money. Tickets do not cover it. We try to keep our tickets below market because we want to bring people in. It's $15 for regular people like yourself, and $10 for students, seniors, and military, which is appropriate today on Veterans Day to have special for the military. So it has averaged between $8,000 to $10,000 to do a play.
So about $50,000 a year if you do about 4 plays a year.
Yeah, although I've got a grant proposal. I want to hire a technical director, somebody that's maybe part-time, half-time, to take care of all the technical stuff, like the lights, and we've had a volunteer been doing it, but I would like to turn that into a paid position.
And as the theater grows, hopefully these paid positions
Will grow as well. Yeah, it'd be great to be able to pay the artistic director. We joke, I don't get paid, I'm the executive director. I joke about it and I say, I pay to be in this because some of my own money goes into it. And gladly. Right now, like 95% of my time is soaked up getting this play ready. When I finish here, I have to go borrow a truck and take a board to be cut into a round for a table. I need to go back to restore, and then I'm going to go and put some things together. And I mean, I was drilling with a drill, all kinds of stuff. And I look kind of grubby, I apologize, but part of it is it's going to be another grubby day doing some drilling and things.
It's like getting your house ready before company gets over.
Yes, yes, absolutely. But everybody's invited to come over.
And then the plays usually go for about how long?
4 to 5 weeks. Oh, this play is going to be, they told me it runs about an hour and 20 minutes, no intermission, because it's a relatively short play. It opens this Friday night. I'm just trembling having it ready. We've moved open time to 7:30 because it's winter. And so you will find us at 880 Wagon Wheel. And the Wagon Wheel is where the ice skating rink is, where the 101 Freeway, Ventura Road, and Wagon Wheel Road all kind of come together. Getting in is a challenge. The easiest way to get in is if you're coming up Ventura Road and just turn right in. But if you're coming up Oxnard Boulevard, and if you coming from Ventura, get off at the Wagon Wheel exit and come through the alley. If you know how to get to the ice rink, you know how to get here. If not, check our website, teatrolasamericas.org. We have a little map and help you get there.
Now, people can donate online, or they mail checks, or how would I donate if I wanted to donate?
You
Facebook, website?
Yeah, donate online is possible. Although, yeah, we can donate online, and then just bring some money with you when you come to the play, and mail a check. Yeah, 880 Wagon Wheel, Oxnard 93036.
Is it tax deductible?
Absolutely. We are a 501c3 nonprofit, which makes contributions tax deductible. Absolutely.
Okay, well, we will see you and El Teatro, Teatro de las Américas, at the Wagon Wheel near the ice skating rink here in lovely Oxnard, California. And we are here with my guest Margaret from Teatro de las Américas here at downtown Bee Gees with their delicious coffee and their delicious pancakes. So I look forward to seeing you at the Teatro.
Or as we say in Spanish, nos vemos en el teatro.
Nos vemos en el teatro.